Hello, everyone. This is South Carolina, Crime and History. Today's case is that of Leroy Joseph Drayton, whose crimes ultimately led to a young woman's death, and later his. Leroy Joseph Ricky Drayton was born on February 10, 1955, in South Carolina. His life was marked by an extensive criminal history that included repeated armed robbery charges. Drayton was on parole at the time he committed the crime that would ultimately lead to his execution via lethal injection on November 12, 1999. In Charleston County, South Carolina, he was laid to rest in Monrovia Cemetery in Charleston. The victim of Drayton's most notorious crime was Rhonda Darlene Smith, a 19-year-old gas station clerk. Born on March 16, 1964, in Charleston, South Carolina. Rhonda was the daughter of Clarence A. and Helen O. Smith, and one of 4 siblings, including former state representative Sandy Wofford. She was remembered as a young woman with promise and close family ties. Rhonda was buried in Live Oak Memorial Gardens in Charleston, following her tragic and violent death. The events of the crime began late on Friday, February 10, 1984. Rhonda drove her fiancé's car to the KO gas station in North Charleston to work her shift as cashier. Around 1 to 1:30 a.m. on February 11th, she spoke with her fiancé by phone, her last known contact with anyone before encountering Drayton. Shortly after that call, Drayton entered the station carrying a .357 Magnum pistol. He abducted Rhonda using her fiancé's car. Initially, he forced her to drive away from the station. After a brief time, he insisted she return, likely to avoid raising suspicion. When they got back, a customer named Gerald Condon found the station door locked. He testified that Rhonda signaled to him with her hands to wait before she and Drayton drove away again. Later, they returned once more, this time waiting for other customers to leave before Drayton forced Rhonda into the car for a second abduction. Drayton then drove Rhonda to a secluded spot along the Cooper River, where an abandoned coal trestle and pier stood. According to his own confession, while on the pier, he lost his balance, striking the railing with his right hand, causing the gun to discharge accidentally. The .357 Magnum fired a .38 caliber bullet between Rhonda's eyes at close range. She died instantly, her body falling into the grass near the river. After the killing, Drayton fled in the car. At daybreak, he returned to the scene with a friend, Anthony J. Washington. Drayton claimed Washington took money from Rhonda's pockets. Money was also missing from the gas station register, reinforcing robbery as a motive. A fisherman discovered Rhonda's body between 10 and 11:30 a.m. that morning. Meanwhile, Drayton and Washington tried to cover their tracks by putting stolen license plates on the car and driving it to New York City. Washington later testified that while in New York, Drayton gave the murder weapon to his uncle, who arranged to sell the car. Both men then returned to Charleston by bus on February 14th. Drayton was arrested 2 days later. Drayton was charged with murder and abduction. He was initially sentenced to death for murder and given a 25-year sentence for abduction. However, the South Carolina Supreme Court overturned this conviction in 1985, ruling that the jury should have been instructed to decide whether Drayton's confession was voluntary. Police had refused to let Drayton see his mother or a lawyer during questioning, violating his rights. At his retrial, Drayton was again convicted and sentenced to death. His final appeals, including to the U.S. Supreme Court, were unsuccessful. Ultimately, he was executed by lethal injection in 1999, ending the legal saga but leaving unresolved the deep grief of Rhonda Smith's family.